Hello everyone from Chelsea Fan TV. I hope you're all doing very well. Chelsea 3, Aston Villa 0 in the Premier League. Nina, it's starting to get dark, but Chelsea fans still feeling very upbeat. The lights are on, the Christmas lights are out, and hopefully we can continue on with this form. I think we're second in the table as it stands.
Well, we're actually third for alphabetical order because Arsenal come just above us on that. But yeah, we don't mind, do we? Like you said, lights are up, Chelsea lighting it up.
What happens if we did finish the season like that? How does that work?
I actually don't know. I actually don't know the ins and outs of that, but not important, Alex. What's important is that Chelsea just put on one of the best performances this season. 3-0, comfortable, 3 goals, a clean sheet, and happy days. And the way that Enzo Maresca set us up means that we now trust him, I think 100%, because he's showing us every game that he has a game plan and he's executing it. You know, sometimes we face trouble, but he adapts and he does well to change things if they're not working. But the way he put us out there, all attack, you know, 3 defenders on the pitch, we thought, yeah, that's the confidence a Chelsea manager should have. Managing Chelsea, putting up that lineup against Aston Villa, who we thought this would be a tough game, regardless whether their form has taken a bit of a dip with their like kind of balancing between Champions League games and Premier League games. I think it's had a bit of an impact. You know, they don't get to change their team as we do, kind of week in, week out. So they looked a bit depleted to me in that first half. But also, Alex, credit to Chelsea because we absolutely took that game by the scruff of the neck, scored first, and then made sure we just double, tripled the lead and left with 3 points and a clean sheet.
Because it's all. I mean, speaking to Villa fans, they're obviously not happy with the way they've played.
Yeah.
And then the question is, I mean, you're always going to say we were amazing, but sometimes you win these games and you weren't even that good.
Yeah.
Can you say with chest that you were really happy with the performance?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, and we looked like, even when Villa popped out in the second half and looked like they posed a little bit of danger, we still coped well. We shut their threat down wherever we could. And how many times have Villa come in the last few years and troubled us at Stamford Bridge? Do you remember that defeat at Stamford Bridge last year? How differently it feels to be standing out here and telling you how good that performance was. And, you know, great that the goal scorers as well, Nico getting his goal the way he did, Enzo Fernandez as well. I mean, 2 goals in 2 games now, Leicester and today. You saw how much it meant to him with the celebrations too. He just really needed it. And then Cole Palmer, what a goal. I mean, 1 goal, 1 assist today. And Alex, I didn't even think that would go in because he kind of looked like he lost his balance a little bit, but just said he'd lump it in anyway, and then top bins, there you go.
I was speaking with the guy next to me in the stadium, and I was like, what do you think about Palmer? And he said, I don't think he's been that great today. He's been a bit quiet by his standards. And I was like, I kind of agree with you, to be fair. Like, he's had the ball, but he wasn't really doing too much.
Yeah.
So I guess he was creating a little bit, but he didn't look as sharp as normal. And then he'd come in, and even when you're not at your best, that's the sign of a top player still being able to produce the goods.
Yeah, and what I'll respond to that is, Alex, that's a good thing. Palmer's rocking up with a goal and an assist, and he's not even our best player, or maybe even the second best player. That's telling you something, and that's only a good thing, because we're not Cole Palmer FC anymore. He is just one of those brilliant players in this squad that seems to be clicking and flourishing. Everyone understands their role a lot better, and we're helping each other. These players all look hungry for goals, you know, in the best way possible, with the best convention of the word. They look like monsters sometimes because they all want that ball. They all want to put shots off, unleash shots, and yeah, how great. I thought it was really nice to see Enzo Fernandez, and I think when he hasn't played, we've missed that little element of creativity because he's able to link up with Palmer as well. He's able to feed our wingers a little bit more and just show us that spark. And then he kind of left the more physical role to Romeo Lavia of coming and winning those one-on-ones in midfield, ensuring that he can carry the ball further up the pitch. So that really worked. And you know, when somebody asked a long time ago, Maresca, if we'd ever see a team where Fernandez, Caicedo and Lavia all start, well, there you go. And it worked. I thought Moises Caicedo, the fact that he's dropping 10 out of 10 performances pretty much week in, week out now is absolutely amazing. No one talks about the price tag anymore. And for a guy that's of his height, he wins aerial duels too, Alex. And I'm like, fair play. You back yourself for those challenges and you win them.
Well, I would feel like if he was just a standard right back, oh, we're missing out in the midfield. But the fact that he comes in, you get a little bit extra than what you had before.
Exactly. And the fact that we know what we do off the ball when we're defending, when we're attacking, you know, the shape's different, but it's understood and it's clear. Because there we are, we look threatening, you know, we're spamming crosses, but someone's kind of there to meet them. You know, we're trying to play through the middle as opposed to keep it side to side. and that's all just really, really good. So yeah, Villa will be disappointed. They didn't play their best game tonight, but for sure Chelsea did dominate in lots of different areas of that game. And you know, I thought defensively Wesley Fofana did a great job at disarming Ollie Watkins in that first half, because I mean he pretty much felt powerless a lot of the times. And unfortunately, we now know that Wesley Fofana is probably out for a minimum of 5 weeks, Alex, because of a hamstring injury. So it's just almost like you have something good, you see it, and then it's all just stripped back out. Come on, Chelsea.
I see you all the time.
Thank you, brother. Good to see you, my friend.
Yeah, good
What were you saying?
Yeah, just about, it's a shame that he's obviously out. We've been in a much better place with injuries. I think this season we've managed to keep players fit. Fofana's had a bit of an unlucky time with this kind of start to life at Chelsea with injury, so hopefully he can be back soon. But it's a chance for Badia Shul maybe to come in again and be that player that he was when we first signed him in that winter window and show his true colours, because he actually got better off than some of our other players, because he played alongside Thiago Silva, who showed him the ropes, showed him how it's done, and said, Badia Shul, you've got to now do what I've been doing here, hopefully.
What do you think that Enzo Fernandez is bringing to the team now that stands out to you? Is it the fact that he's now contributing goals instead of just creating? Is it his defensive work rate? I mean, is there anything in particular that stands out to you?
I definitely think the offensiveness has been sort of outweighing maybe the defensive work, because he has again been contributing to goals. But you know, I also think that Enzo is, you know, we always talked about his range of passes as well, and he's not afraid to switch it, etc. And I think that's really great. But it is definitely that element of creativity that we sometimes miss when he's not quite there. And I mean, is it a coincidence that he's come back in and, you know, he's that Pamer's looked a lot better as well? I think that is a thing, because they help each other out, and it's not just all Pamer trying to create. But you know, Alex, there were loads of games where we looked at Enzo Fernandez and we thought, you know, he is trying there. Someone's not always there to end up meeting his passes, but he could actually have a much bigger assist tally had other players been able to always finish those chances that he creates. So what I will say to that is, long may it continue. But I can only take positives out of the fact that he's going all the way to the other side of the world for international duty and then coming back for club and performing. So it's very, very welcome. Hope it continues.
It's not an easy lifestyle going back and forth, especially when you're not even in the same continent when you go international.
Absolutely, and there you have it. So I'm absolutely thrilled, Alex. Doesn't it feel good to be able to enjoy these performances and not even have such a nervy end to the game as well? Because we looked like we were passing among each other and we were like, go on ref, you can blow the full time whistle, our job's done here.
If you look at Nicholas Jackson's stats at the moment, I don't know which stats they were comparing it to, but it was something to do with Drogba. And they were saying, I think this was in one of the papers or something, that it's better at the moment than it was under when we had Drogba.
Right.
And Nicholas Jackson then come out, there's a video of him in a car speaking to a fan saying, don't call me the new Didier Drogba, call me the new Nicholas Jackson.
Yeah.
That's what I want to be known as. And he is actually a very different player to what we saw with Drogba, but he looks so, what's the word? It looks effortless when he's finishing. It was a left-footed finish. We would have never seen that last season.
And do you know what with Jackson is? He's not the striker that will give you the absolutely wonder goals outside the box, you know, put these massive curlers on it. But his technique has really improved with the finishing. You saw against Leicester, just the way you have that split second to decide what you do with that ball, and just the way that he used his outside of his foot and put enough pace for it to go into the goal. And same again tonight, you know, great obviously Cucurella crossing it, but the way that it's just the striker instinct finish has improved with Jackson, and you can see it. Yeah, I mean, maybe there were a couple chances that second half when maybe he could have done better, but he's improving, and he's definitely not missing as many as he was last season, even though his goal tally last season was good. For a striker in his first season of Premier League football, that young, when he'd only really had a good second half in his La Liga spell, and that's what we kind of bought him off. The fact that he's continuing on, I believe he's on 8 goals now, and he's like joint fourth, fifth or something like that with Pamer and a few other players down below. Not so bad, is it? And as someone who had issues, trust issues about him perhaps being the only kind of out-and-out number 9 with maybe Nkunku competing in that spot, he's proven me wrong, and yeah, he's doing well.
Is he undroppable?
Undroppable, I'd say probably now, yeah. I'd say yes. And you know what? I feel bad for Nkunku, and I'll tell you why. He does look unhappy because he only ever gets about 10-15 minutes. And I think that, you know, Nkunku knows that he's got the quality to do better or to actually get more game time. He's one of the more senior players. He's not young either. He's 27, so you don't have the excuse of he's young, he'll grow, he'll develop. Nkunku came to Chelsea to be a regular starter. Unlucky with injury at the start, but he definitely expected that he will pick up minutes. It's very hard for a player to make an impact when you come off for 10 minutes as well, isn't it? But But at the moment, with how Jackson's performing and how he's formed that chemistry with the link-ups with Madueke, with Pamer and Neto recently, it's hard to drop him and try that at the moment. Not to say that somewhere down the line, you know, Maresca said it himself that we'll see maybe Joao Felix and Nkunku coming in for more games in the Premier League. But
potentially against Southampton, that would make sense, especially with the congestion of fixtures.
Yeah. And do you know what, Alex? That means teams don't know what's coming, because we have so much talent that is yet to grow, unleash. We're by no means a polished team, but we're improving, and it seems that we're climbing up the stairs as opposed to down like last season when we take a step forward and 3 steps backwards. So again, what I want to see now is a winning streak. You beat Leicester, fantastic. We got a great win here at home. Go and beat Southampton, go and beat Tottenham. So come December, we can be in a really good place and not rely on alphabetical order to be second or third. And
there's Levi.
Colwell.
There's Colwell.
Yeah.
I would ask him something, but I know they're not allowed to speak to us.
Yeah,
so
well done, Levi. Got a smile.
How did you think he played today?
Yeah, good. I mean, you know what, Levi Colwell, he's that player that he, like, you know, proper Chelsea gets thrown around nowadays, but you do like to believe that he loves being here at Chelsea and playing, and you can see it. He has that kind of hunger in his eyes to prove himself. He latches balls forward as well. I think defensively he's improved as well. Yeah, I'm happy. It's hard to pick out an individual tonight, Alex, and say that they didn't do enough. I think everyone performed, everyone put in the shift, and collectiveness is what I've always wanted at Chelsea recently. We always talk about, even last season, I could tell you, we'd talk about maybe 2-3 players that put in a shift and everyone else. But the fact that we're having more and more games where we're saying everyone's having a good game, everyone's having a good shift, yeah, I'm delighted, man. It's been a couple rough seasons here. Take these wins, take these positive.
We'll take everything we can get, especially if you look at our home win percentage, which was 41% before this game. Actually really poor, considering where we are in the table.
You're looking at potentially a 4-game winning streak, which is something we wouldn't have seen for a while, and a big positive, and then we can go on and hopefully continue that.
Finishing off with the most, well, actually a pretty positive aspect today, the goalkeeper, who I didn't want to start, but I thought Robert Sanchez, I think Sanchez did quite well today, if I'm honest.
Yeah, he did. He deserves his props. You know, a couple saves, was good on the most part. We didn't have any rip your hair out moments, really, if I can remember. So that tends to be a positive with Sanchez.
Yeah. 1 or 2 shaky moments, but I mean, look, it wouldn't be a proper game if there wasn't 1 or 2 moments.
Yeah, but let's be real. Maresca was never going to start Jorgensen in this game, was he?
Why do you think that is?
I think it's because, okay, great, with all outfield players, you can chop and change, but with goalkeepers, it's a bit risky sometimes to, you know, have too much of a chop and change. So I think for the time being, I think we'll keep Sanchez. Performances like that do help his case as well. We'll see Jorgensen in the league. If he can continue showing us why he perhaps deserves a spot in the starting 11 in the Premier League, then maybe come December, January, Maresca will be willing to make that call.
So you think that maybe we just have to wait until that period? Do you see it coming good? I mean, more performances like that, I don't think you see many complaints.
It does remind you of the situation last season with our goalkeepers when Sanchez was injured. Petrovic showed us, you know, this spectacular display, and everyone was like, yep, you've got the #1 shirt now. And that kind of feels like that's what would happen if Jorgensen came in and showed the same thing. But it just seems that Sanchez is kind of building this chemistry, because the whole thing is playing out the back as well, and that's got to click by getting, you know, keeping playing with your defenders, etc. I think that's probably the only thing I can think of at the moment, you know, just keeping that going. But yeah, I mean, Jorgensen so far is showing us a good keeper there. We do worry we have loads, but we're not too sure who's doing what, so not bad to have on our books.
Awesome, Ian. Thanks so much.
Yeah.
Good to see you.